I mean, he's doing it because he found, like, Lovecraft changed his life, and he understands what kind of impact that can have on people.
On this Walpurgisnacht, we call forth the spirit of Yog-Sothoth, that by these sacred rites, our desires of flesh and blood be granted. We also ask him to acknowledge our special guests this night, who have come to record this night's working, that it may be brought back unto the world. Shall we begin? I call forth Shub Niggurath, the black goat of 1,000 young.
May your wound protect and keep us, and may your parasitic young devour our enemies.
I call forth Cthulhu, the tentacled void that shall arise from the depths and lay waste to banality.
May we find strength in the primordial depths.
I didn't really have a real direction in mind. I just kind of just went where I felt like when I should turn. I did.
And that led you here?
Yeah.
And what about your family?
Well, I don't really know what I would say to them, you know. It's not something you can really explain.
May we remember that we are small
in the cosmos. Like there was something just special about this land, and he left everything there to come and kind of start again here. Just something about the place. It's so powerful.
Elam, Ezoth, Meten.
I make thy sigil. And mark the invocation.
Amor, Olad, Rachael, Gan.
I take your spirit and unite my will
with our nation, Ashen, God.
I take your spirit
Nation,
and my will.
Ashen,
I
God.
take your spirit and unite
Nation,
my will.
Ashen,
I take
God.
your spirit
We
and
are
my will.
nation,
I take your
Ashen,
spirit
God.
and my will.
Jeez. What the hell is...
What's going on? Getting this? What's going on? Check out this guy.
And there are good movies out there that rip off Lovecraft and that only fail at the precise moment where you actually turn and see Great Cthulhu Rising.
That is to say, Lovecraft certainly didn't believe in the existence of the creatures that he invented, and the fact that he was an atheist is not a contradiction of the fact that he created gods and monsters in his stories, because they are clearly meant to be interpreted symbolically as a kind of a symbol for all that human beings don't know about the universe and about the vast forces that could just brush us aside at any moment. He knew that we were alone in the universe, that there is no friendly hand to help us.
We all started out as teenagers reading Lovecraft for the fun of it, and it's great fun, and it remains fun even if you do the scholarly side. I can't get enough of Lovecraft.
It gives me a feeling that I really want to have, this sort of awe about the landscape and the potential for there being something very old. I think the problem, most of the mythology that we have is centered either in Europe or in the Middle East, and so to have a new mythology set in the place where you're living that has this ancient feeling.
It's really like reality. Reality is not what you think it is. Reality, there's something out there that that we just don't understand or recognize. And it's always coming to that realization.
Because Lovecraft is rock and roll. Lovecraft really is rock and roll in a very, very weird and peculiar way. There was nobody else like him. Nobody else did what he did, and nobody else has done it since. Looking at some of the contemporaries out there, H.G. Wells or Jules Verne or these guys, they did not give you a worldview. H.G. Wells wrote much scarier horror short stories than Lovecraft did, and they are forgotten. I mean, some people have sat and read the complete short stories of H.G. Wells, but he's not. But these stories for a man who in his day attained much, much more success, and his work's been filmed and blah, 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 has nothing near the number of people reading him on a daily basis. And not just reading, but on some kind of primal level, believing. Believing in the same way that when people hear the Beatles' music, they believe. You don't have to believe that Michelle really exists, or that you're going to Strawberry Fields, or that Lucy is actually up there in that sky with those diamonds. But that music becomes part of you, and part of the way you see the world. Lovecraft... It's not fair to say that Lovecraft was a terrible writer. But Lovecraft, stylistically, was not a great writer. You got these clotted lumps of adjectival froth, these words that he was incredibly fond of, like gibbous and eldritch, that would, creep through things and actually not mean anything and not add anything, and all the stuff that kids who read Lovecraft immediately try and write Lovecraft stories, and they all have words like gibbous and eldritch immediately in them. But the thing about Lovecraft is, why is it that you read him and you want to do it? And I don't think I can answer that other than saying it's rock and roll.
The band hopefully will be fun too tomorrow. Darkest Hillside Thick, have you ever heard of them? No, they do all Lovecraft-like lyrics. That going down to Dunwich.
Oh, that's a really hard one because they do different things. Lovecraft stories. The easy ones to point to are things like The Call of Cthulhu. But then you read it and it's a crap story. I mean, it's really not a good story. It's a really good something. It's a good preliminary essay for the idea.
I really like Call of Cthulhu, basically. I mean, it seems like kind of one of the standard ones, but I just love the global investigating that starts in New Orleans and moves to the South Pacific, and it really has this movement and motion to it, and it's got the big C in it.
There then followed an exhaustive comparison of details and a moment of awed silence when both detective and scientist agreed on the identity of the phrase common to two hellish rituals so many worlds of distance apart. In his house at Relaya, dead Cthulhu waits, dreaming.